and welcome. I did a lot of the puzzle without you because it was warm. I messed up and needed some time to just try to relax because I did a thing the other day, and I'm gonna tell you about it because I think I've seen it like in a movie or in a TV show or something, maybe on a reel or whatever. But in a point in a story, when you hear the voiceover of someone having a realization, and the realization goes along the lines of, and it was in that moment she knew she fucked up. Yeah, I had that like out of body experience almost with the voiceover. I could hear it in my head because yeah, I did badly. So I need to calm myself down. So I did a lot of my puzzle. I also did a lot of cleaning. That was not fun. I'm generally not a fan of cleaning. I don't really like doing it. I do it because, it's necessary sometimes, but not my favorite thing. I can't claim that that is a favorite thing of mine. So with that being said, let me tell you a story. Or should I call it a cautionary tale? Also, something for me to remember so I don't ever do that again because, wow, it was bad. And honestly, there are still places where it's bad. Not as bad as it started out with, but still. Things that shouldn't have happened. So, yeah. Let me tell you about the story of how I actually felt like I heard a voiceover to myself. That was an interesting thing. I never had it before, so yeah. I don't want it in such a way again because it was so bad. I can almost laugh at it now because also if I don't laugh, I'm gonna start crying, and wow, not want to do that. Point is, the other day I was very stressed, and we all know that if you're very stressed about something, occasionally things happen. A little bit more thing that I ever thought would happen did happen. So yeah, not fun. Not recommended. In any way, shape, or form. So the other day I woke up stressed because I had two things that day that stressed me out. I had a meeting. I was gonna have a meeting at about 2:00 the other day, and I knew it was gonna be an uncomfortable one. I didn't really want to do it, but I needed to, so sometimes you do the things you gotta do, and that's what it is. So I did. And, but that was later in the day. Me messing up happened a little earlier, partly because I was so stressed. Things made it even more stressful for me, so that was not fun. Very unfortunate and annoying. So yeah, it started with me knowing that I had a meeting at 2:00 the other day. A meeting I was not looking forward to. The other thing that it was going to happen that day was the chimney sweeper was going to come sweep my chimney. And, that one I do appreciate. I don't want to risk anything. Because I have a wood stove and I use it a ton during winter. Because I like heating my house with wood, with firewood. So, and I have a very tall house. It's steep. It's an old house. You never know what can go wrong. So that is always a bit of a not a challenge, maybe a challenge, yes, but also a bit of, it occasionally makes me nervous. So, and then I had, as I said, this meeting later in the day that I was really stressed about. And then that kind of jobs, like chimney sweeper and that kind of jobs, they don't always come when they're supposed to. But I thought it would be fine because the chimney sweeper was supposed to come between 8 and 1, and the meeting was going to be at 2. I didn't know how long time the chimney sweeper needed, but I figured if he comes at 1, he'll be done, so it won't be a problem. And also, a challenge for me is that in such a case, I wait. I don't get much done, I just wait, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I don't like it, but I accept that it is what it is. So the meeting was going to be at 2. The chimney sweeper was supposed to come between the hours of 8 and 1. That's a 5-hour window, which is, in my opinion, way too big of a window. Because I do like getting things done, but I'm like stuck in waiting mode. So I can't do much else. And considering how much I would like to get done, how many things that I need to do, that is very unfortunate. But I repeat, it is what it is. So I was ready. Or correction, I thought I was ready at 8 o'clock. And I was like, oh, cool, okay. I hope he doesn't come too late. So I waited. The clock turned 9. I was like, well, I might not be the first on his list. Maybe he won't come until like around 1. But I waited, and then I waited, and then I waited. The clock struck 10, 11, 12. And then I was starting to get a little worried because, I don't know how long it takes to sweep the chimney and get the ash out from the bottom and all that. So I really hope that he gets there so I can, don't have to stress about my meeting at 2 because I'm already stressed about that. So that was a thing, as I said. And then I had been outside stacking some firewood for winter. And yes, when you do firewood, you have to prepare in summer for the coming winter. So I was doing that, not seeing a big problem with that part. But when it started to get close to 1 o'clock, I was getting the worried, to put it nicely. And yeah, that happened. So, well, that did not go. So even though I was worried, it's like, well, there's still time. There should still be time. And as I said, I was getting more and more stressed out. And when I get stressed out, I can't just unstress when they show up because the chimney sweeper didn't show up until 1:05. And I was stressed because of my meeting later. And then what happened was that he asked if everything was ready. Oh, I just heard a bird. He asked if everything was ready to have my chimney swept, if everything was closed. And I was like, yeah, sure, it's fine. Just get on with your job, with your work and sweep the chimney. I have a meeting at 2. And he was like, yeah, cool, no problem. They went up on the roof, they swept the chimney, they got the ash out. I put the ladder away. And then I was thinking, well, I have slightly less than half an hour until my meeting, so I can go and prepare. And it was a video call, which was part of the reason for my stress, because I don't really like that. It makes me uncomfortable. But I was thinking, well, okay, I got about half an hour to the meeting. It'll be fine. I'll go in, turn on the computer and all the things. And then I opened my front door because while the chimney sweeper were here, I was outside. And I didn't really think anything of it because there were two guys that came. So I asked one guy a few questions while he was kind of on the ground, and the other one was up high sweeping my chimney. And, they left. I open my front door. I go inside and I think to myself, I expected a little bit of smell because it is a messy process. But this is more of a smell than what I thought. Well, I better prepare for my meeting. And I kind of like turn on my computer and all that, so I'm ready. Because there's probably some logging stuff and all, because there always is. And I walk inside through the little part of my living room, grab my phone because I assumed I needed that one too. Walked into the kitchen, and the smell was even more in the little living room. When I get to the kitchen, I stop and think, something ain't right. Not sure what it is, but something is not adding up here. Also, the smell was way too much for what it's supposed to be. At least I thought. And that's when I started getting worried and also even more stressed because the meeting. I walked back into my little living room after having put the phone down on the kitchen table. I walk back into my little living room, and then I see it. I look at the floor. I looked over to where my phone had been on a little bench, and then I see like the outline of my phone. And where my phone had been, it was lighter, and the other part was darker. Still not fully grasping the severity of the situation, I look back on the floor and think, oh no. Oh no. Oh my God. And that's when I hear it. Like in a movie. It was in that moment she knew she fucked up. Because when I had my chimney swept 2 years ago, I was told a little detail 2 years ago that I was suddenly reminded of. Because in a wood stove, you have one kind of lever that you can move to kind of decide how much air comes in to like the burn chamber and then kind of moves up. And I had to close that one. But the thing is, there is another lever. I don't know how to say it. But the thing is, there is also a thing that you move to close the airflow between the wood stove and the chimney itself. Yeah, I was told that tiny little detail 2 years ago. Don't expect me to remember a tiny detail I was told 2 years ago. So of course I had not closed that one. Then that was the big mistake. It was soot everywhere. And then I mean everywhere. Because, like, I was standing in soot. And I was like, and my meeting's about to start. I can't have it like this. So I go get my vacuum cleaner. I know it's not like the greatest thing, but it was the only thing I could think of. I was like, vacuum clean as much as I can, continuously looking at my watch, because rather stressed at that point. Open the windows, continue vacuum cleaning, and thinking, okay, I've done the floor and behind the wood stove, it should be fine. But then I looked back to the bench where my phone was like, yeah. And then I looked at my couch that I bought new just a couple of months ago and thought, oh dear, I really hope I didn't ruin it completely. Because what I saw there made me a little... I don't even know how to explain it. Because it's not like the couch was cheap. It was, it was expensive in my opinion, even though I got it on sale. It was still expensive. Because it had a layer of soot all over it. And I was thinking to myself, I really hope I can rescue this, because if not, I'm honestly not sure what I'll do except like scream and cry, but that's not gonna help. But yeah, that led to more furiously cleaning, like wetting, like dampening washcloth, and like carefully just wiping off the couch, all of the couch, and the pillows, and the blanket, and the computer that was sitting on the table was also covered in soot. Yeah. And I was like, I don't think that's good for the computer. I really don't think that's good for the computer. But, it had already happened by then. And then I looked at the time again and I was like, uh-oh, I have to, like, turn on my computer, log in, and all that to be ready for my meeting, because that's about to start in a couple of minutes now. And then I obviously, maybe not obviously, but of course I struggled with logging in. It was a whole thing. And I was still super stressed. And it was a mess. Thinking about it, I'm just like, oh my lord. How am I supposed to remember that tiny little detail? So I guess the cautionary tale is, if you have a wood stove and someone comes to sweep your chimney, make sure everything is locked. Not just like the air thingy, but the thingy that closes between the wood stove and the chimney, because if you don't, you will have soot everywhere. And I mean everywhere, because in where I'm sitting, I had to take, and the wood stove is not in this room. The wood stove is in the next room over. There is a door opening. There's no door, but there's an opening to a door. It's in that room. Here where I'm sitting, I had to take a damp cloth and wipe off the table and the puzzle. Luckily, it didn't take damage because it's not my puzzle even. It's my sister's puzzle. Take a damp cloth and I have a carpet on the floor here and the chair and and there's a window over there. It had soot in the windowsill. That window also probably, but I haven't cleaned off that one yet because there is so much to clean off, because all the surfaces, and I mean all the surfaces of everything, had a fine layer of soot. And so the particles are so small that you can't see them, but if you just wipe your finger and look at your finger, you can see it. It was, yeah, So I've been cleaning the last few days. I mean, in a way, it's like, yeah, sure, I did need to clean the bed, but seriously? Seriously? Like that? Are you kidding me? I'd go with no thank you, I'll pass on that one, but I didn't really have that choice, I guess. So yeah, I've been cleaning for the last couple of days. And also outside and weeding and cutting the grass and cutting the lawn and all because it was needed. But man, that was a mess. It's now several days later, and I'm still like, oh my lord, this is not good. Because it was so bad. It was so bad. And I just like, how? How in the world? And the annoying thing, yeah, sure, it's all my own fault. I should have done the thing. But I can't help but think that, and I was like, oh, maybe I should have asked a little more or something, but I don't remember. Like, a tiny little detail from 2 years ago. Are you kidding me? So I wish that the chimney sweeper, instead of just asking if everything was ready, he could have asked a little bit more specifically. It's like, did you close that? Because then I would have been, close what? Wait, let me think about it. No, right, I should close that. I would have been reminded if he just asked more specifically. And yeah, sure, it's not his fault. It's not his problem. It's definitely my problem, though. It is so my problem. Because I'll probably have to continue cleaning for, I don't even know how long now. But so unfortunate. So annoying. And I mean, it could have been avoided if I had remembered and if he had asked a little bit more of a specific question. I'm not blaming him. It's not his fault. It's not his problem. I just, like, how are we expected to, just because I have a wood stove and I burn firewood to keep the heat on in winter, like, how is it really expected that I'm supposed to remember all the little details like that when the chimney sweeper comes? I don't know. I wish that wasn't expected. It did seem that it was expected. It certainly felt like that way. But yeah, I messed up. I messed up bad. And I'm gonna, as I said, I've been cleaning for days now. I'll probably continue cleaning for several more days because, you know, it was a lot to clean. And I don't really, I guess you could say I didn't realize how many surfaces I have because it's not just the room where it happened. It was also the kitchen and it was also this living room. It's kind of like a long living room. And yeah, it's everywhere. It is everywhere. And yeah, if you have a wood stove, don't do what I did. Don't forget to close the extra thing. It's please don't. I do not want this to happen to anyone else. Maybe my potentially worst enemy, but I don't really have kind of like a worst enemy to wish it upon. But if I had, this might be one of the things I would wish on them. But you're not my enemy, so please take a lesson from my mistake and close everything. Even the things you don't remember that you're supposed to close. I just told you. So, yeah, that was not fun. And I'm still paying for it by continuously having to clean all the things I didn't realize I had to clean. So, yeah, I've needed a little bit of time to occasionally just sit and do puzzle and all because, yeah, I was not happy there for a bit. Because it was just so like yeah, I shake my head and roll my eyes at myself, and also I'm like, what the yeah. So yeah, that's my latest story because because I messed up badly, like really badly. I don't know what else to say about it except oops. Oops doesn't really cover it, but you know, you catch my drift. You get what I mean, right? Because yeah, no, it was so bad. I don't know how long I'll be paying for it with cleaning. I honestly don't know. Hopefully not too long, because as I said, I'm not that fond of cleaning. I don't find cleaning very fun, or satisfying, or enjoyable. Maybe even less now because it's of my own mistake. I mean, there was one bright thing about it, or good thing about it. I could definitely see where I was vacuum cleaning on the worst spots. But then there were other spots that you couldn't really see it unless you like took the finger test and looked at it and you thought, "Oh dear, that is not good." So, yeah, there's a little both sides on that one, but I've been cleaning lately and doing a little bit of puzzle to calm my brain down from like shaking my head, rolling my eyes at myself. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed the story. Uh it'll hopefully be a good story to tell, and also a cautionary tale, a reminder. But I don't hope I ever do that again because, wow, yowza, let's not do that. But, you know, I did something. And it's warm outside, so it's not too bad to be inside, off, away from the blazing hot sun, and clean a little bit because I am, I don't like to get sunburned nor eaten by bugs. And both, I'm hiccuping, and both things are currently happening with a clear blue sky and a warm sun, and I kind of love it, but I don't want to get burned. So being inside in the middle of the day to clean even more, it could have been worse. Not sure how, but I'm sure it could have been. So, I also did some on my puzzle. I'm not done yet, but I will be soon. I hope you have enjoyed this cautionary tale and warning for me, and don't make my mistake, and have a nice day, and yeah, enjoy. And if you're doing any puzzles, let me know. I will talk to you in the next video.